Here we go, video 5, and let's kind of leave off where we left off, and let's kind of walk through what we're going to do today. So I have a website from a website called Awards with 3 W's, so the AWWW Awards. So it's a website that has a lot of inspirational, really well designed websites that I often go to just kind of draw inspiration from, get design ideas from, things like that. So I think I'm going to use maybe a similar design to this, and really what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do the navigation up top. I'll do this hero section here in the second part of the web page. I'll probably skip this grid. This is his Instagram grid here, and I'll probably just skip straight to works. I think I like the 2-column layout, so I'll probably do 2-column layout with a couple placeholder things for our projects that we want to showcase. I'll probably skip career for now, and then we'll do footer, which will be all of this content. The big thing we're going to accomplish today is just getting that infrastructure in for in our HTML, and then in the next video we're going to look at CSS, and we're going to actually start to style things up, and that's the really kind of fun stuff of web design. So the first thing we're going to do is let's just take a look at what we have so far. I am just going to open my index in Sublime Text, and you can see that here. And what I'm going to do is kind of, again, following the inspiration from our aspirational or inspirational site, I'm just going to start with the nav up top. So right now I'm going to remove our site title logo. I might put it like in between, sort of like centered in between my navigation items, but we'll just worry about that later. And since I don't have a logo at this point, it's not a big deal. We can kind of skip it. But so we've got our header area with the page starts with the navigation. And in the next section, we have our hero section. I'm going to leave it as the hero section, and I am going to just put my name and then maybe my title. So I'll say web designer, web developer, technical communications specialist. Okay, so you can follow along. You can add whatever sort of job titles you want for your own page. And again, we're going to kind of recreate this loosely, like very loosely. But as you build out your own portfolio, you're going to want to put your own flair on it, right? So you're not going to want to, you can kind of follow along as practice, but you're not going to want to obviously use this exact same design and layout, just as you're thinking about moving forward. And the other thing that we have on the right here, never settle for less than perfection. He's got a little bit of a tagline. I think I'll probably just skip that. And then he's got his social media links. If I had social media, I would include those. I don't have social media, so I won't include those. So right now, I've just added a bit of text to my header area. I've made my navigation the first thing that we see in the on the page. And then again, we're going to skip this grid area, and we're going to move on to our portfolio or our works section. We've called this main content. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as main content. And I am going to create, I'll just add 4 placeholder projects. So I'll do div class project, and we're going to style all of these projects exactly the same. And so this is a little lesson in why using classes are really helpful. So you can assign a class to more than one HTML element. And the really good thing about that is now we can style all of the elements within that class once we get to CSS identically, right? So if we look at his example, we're going to want all of our images to be the same width and height. We're going to want all of the titles for these projects to be the same font, the same color, the same font size. So instead of having to do that sort of individually like you would have to do in Microsoft Word or something, you might have to set those manually. We're going to use this class project, and then we'll be able to target that class in our CSS when we go ahead and do our design in the next video. So I'm going to create 4 projects. We're not going to worry about the 2-column layout just yet. So I'm going to do project, and I'm just going to do 4 of them, and I'm going to just copy and paste. So we've got 4 projects so far. You might have 8, you might have 2, depending on however many projects you have. You can kind of follow along, or you can actually use real projects that you've been using. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this website, unsplash.com. These videos won't be too heavy on sort of like design theory and things like that. But I'll give you a couple little tips. One of the things, especially for folks that are more on the documentation side, more on the technical communication side, you may not have super visually appealing products, right? So maybe one of your portfolio pieces or example pieces is a user manual or something like that, right? So you don't really want to take a screenshot of like a Word document and make that the main image. You want something more visually interesting. And so what I really like about what he's done here is he obviously is a UX designer here. And so he's got a lot of sort of visually appealing portfolio pieces. But if you don't, you can come in and there's some decent stock photography these days. And you can, you can find some representative images that give you a pop of color, that maybe give you a little bit more of an artistic look, as opposed to just screenshots of, Word documents or something like that. So maybe, and I'm not going to be very particular. I'm just going to choose kind of randomly. But I am going to, and these are all royalty-free completely free stock photos that you can use without attribution. So this is really nice. You can attribute the author, but you don't legally have to. So I like to use these for all kinds of websites, client sites, and things like that. The only thing to watch out for is you don't want to misrepresent yourself, right? So if you, for example, wanted to use this image, you'd have to be careful with something like this, because you wouldn't want to use an image that someone might think that's the actual final product. So that's one thing to look out for sure. But I'm just going to find 4, visually interesting images, and we can change these. These will kind of be just placeholder images for now. So let's see. Let's search for document. It's a visually interesting image of a document that we might be able to use. Not very many good ones here. Maybe I'll just use, or how about, yeah, maybe I'll use something like this for one of my wireframe projects, I'm going to download these all as small because on the grid, they're not going to be bigger than 800 by 600. So we'll just start with small images. So that's one, that's two. Let's see, wireframe. Perfect. Let's do maybe something like this. And our fourth will go something with an image of code or something like that. Here's an interesting one. Some code here, looks like JavaScript. Okay, so we'll grab these 4 images and I'm gonna put them in the folder, my IMG folder. Originally we had dog in dog-2. We're going to replace these with 4 new portfolio images. So I'm going to rename these just as image 1. You might want to name these in a way that is more descriptive, but just for the purposes of this tutorial, it's probably easiest just to keep these as image 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that when you're following along, it's easy for you to follow along. So what I'm going to do is, it looks like we have an image and then the title, image, title, image, title. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add these in our HTML. So we're going to do image, source. We're going to make sure we're following the right path, right? So we want to go into the IMG folder. So IMG / image1.jpg. Again, we need alt text for all images for accessibility purposes. So we'll just say picture of, what is image 1? Picture of a light bulb. Picture of light bulb. And then I'm just going to copy this and change and I'm a little bit picky about my indentations and things to try to keep the code clean. Again, it doesn't change the output, but I like to do that just to keep it nice and clean and readable. So I'm going to change these to image 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then obviously we want to change the alt text for these as well. So picture of code is number 2. Number 3 is, let's see, picture of wireframe. And number 4 is picture of, it's kind of a wireframe too, but we'll just say design. Okay, so let's see if these 4 things show up. We've got picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, and picture 4. Perfect. So they're showing up. What I want to do is I also want to, and we want to kind of follow our heading hierarchy here. So this to me is sort of like a second level header probably. So I'm going to put these in H2 heading 2 tags, and I am going to just call these placeholders. I'm going to call this project 1 placeholder, H2 tag, project 2 placeholder. And again, just to kind of reiterate, every tag we open in HTML, we need to close. And we can see that these tags are nested inside of our project tag. We can also see that our projects are nested inside of our main content div as well. So we have multiple nestings going on, but we'll want to save and we'll refresh and we'll see we've got our top section, our hero section. We have our portfolio section with project 1 placeholder, project 2 placeholder, project 3, and project 4. The last thing we'll do, and then we'll close up this video, is we will add our footer. So we've got our site footer div already. I think what I'll do is, how should we do this? I like the little tagline, so I'm going to add a big heading here in H2. You know, let's work together on your next project. And then I like that. And then do we want to do the 2-column layout? I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just add, we'll decide that later, and we'll just add we will add our email. What should these be? I'm going to make these list. I'm going to make this an unordered list, and then we can style it up how we want. So we'll start with email. test@test.com. We'll go resume. I like that. Download PDF. LinkedIn. LinkedIn.com/test. And I think that's it. You may want to include your phone. That would be up to you. And that'll be it for our footer for now. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So we'll save and refresh, and we've got our footer area, which we can then style up however we want. We can make it look, in the next video, we can make it look much nicer. But I think we have the infrastructure for our homepage here, and let's call it there. And the next video will be really exciting. So in the next video, we will really get into starting designing this bad boy. So